All right, what's good, everybody? For all my listeners out there tonight, man, listen, we got a special one for you here tonight, baby. I got the opportunity to sit down with an incredibly gifted artist, man, that goes by the name of Garfield Bright.
The
Hey, Garfield,
original
wait a minute, though,
member.
wait a minute, though, wait a minute, though,
Gotta
wait a
get
minute,
it out.
though. I gotta let him know something. I gotta let him know something. His name ain't just Mr. Garfield Bright. His name is Dr. Garfield Bright, PhD. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the original multi-platinum artists, man, selling that was with SHAI. You know what I'm saying? And we're just gonna sit down with him for a little while, man, and let him talk a little bit, man, about some of the things that he did and the experiences that he's had as moving through the music industry. You know what I'm saying? And then along with some other things that he's involved with in life. So Mr. Garfield,
What's good?
how are you today, my brother?
Life is good, man. I have no complaints.
No, that's right. So we was having a little debate over here, right? I need you to let us know where you originally from and how long you've been kind of putting your work in, man, in the music industry.
Okay. Well, I'm a mutt, man. I'm a straight up mutt. Like I was born, like physically born in Meharry Hospital in Nashville, Tennessee, Davidson County. That's where I came out at. I didn't live there hardly for any time, but that's why I came to this planet in Nashville. And then my parents, moved to Knoxville, Tennessee, shortly thereafter. And I was there till I was about 5, maybe 6. And then my parents moved to, my dad went to University of Tennessee. My mom went to Knoxville College for a little while. And then they moved to Montgomery, Alabama. And I'm starting first grade and second and third grade in Montgomery on a campus of Alabama State University. They had this school called the Early Childhood Center. And I was kind of like, anytime you go to a football game at college, you'll see these little badass kids on the sideline throwing, like pumping Gatorade to the players and pass. That was me, like during halftime at the basketball games. I was a little kid that I was allowed to be on the court. Everybody wondered, how he get on the court? I had it like that, so I was like a little bad kid running around that I was allowed to do stuff on campus. Anyway, so then from there, my mom and dad got a divorce, and then I moved to Boston. To be with my dad in my coming of age years, like right when I was like 11 to 12 years old, and right before I was a teenager, and I was leaving the 8th grade. I was in the middle of the 8th grade, and I was going into like my high school years, headed to basically Brockton, Massachusetts. The Boxers, home of the Boxers, Rocky Marciano, Marvin Hagler. But that's why I came of age. That's kind of like, as I was growing up, finding myself, my voice getting deeper, puberty setting in. And then when I went to Howard University, I would come home back to Brockton. Like that was home. So that was the longest time I'd ever spent in one spot was Brockton, Massachusetts, because I moved around a lot and everything. So that's all of those places kind of shaped me and made me. I claim Boston because that's kind of like, the me that you see in front of me. I still got those Southern sensibilities though, because I did grow up in my early life down in the South in the Gump, Tennessee, places like that I can get down with the best of them in the Southern realm. But that Northern era, especially when hip hop was coming to its own, I was popping, I was rhyming. I was in school there. It was like a whole different flavor in the 90s and the late 80s in the northeastern part of the United States. It was some electric energy going on. And I kind of came of age during that piece. So that's it.
Okay. That's good to me. We talk about. So I mean, you got so much that was going on. Like we was kind of intrigued. At least I was really intrigued by not just your music prowess, but your educational. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Prowess that you put to it. But we're gonna talk about that also. You know what I'm saying? Because
no doubt,
I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't know that about you. You know what I mean?
Pretty much. And I don't wear it like as a badge because I know, it's something that I did for me. I did it for the legacy of my family. And it just it was just born out of the need to always want to push the envelope in terms of what I could do. I wanted to know if I can hang on a terminal degree level in the doctoral piece in terms of my intelligence. I always fancied myself an intelligent guy, and I just wanted to see if I could bang with the best of them up there. And I did. I proved my salt. I got awards. My dissertation and my master's got awards. I had a 4.03 grade point average. So I really did my thing in that realm. But it wasn't no honorary doctorate. Trust me, it was hard blood, sweat, and tears earned dissertation, master's thesis type of situation for me.
Right. And I know just when you talking about that, I got a strong feeling that your mom had a lot to do with you getting your education. You know what
My
I'm
mom
saying?
and dad, both. My
Right.
pops worked for the National Education Association.
Okay.
He's an organizational specialist, and he was, like a union guy. Like he was an arbitration guy between disputes with the union and teachers. He worked on behalf of teachers. He was strong educational type of guy influencing
Right.
my world. But my mom was too. She works real closely, even right now, with the Alabama Education Association. She's a voting delegate for the National Democratic Convention. Like she's a Delta, my dad's a Q. They both had a strong impact on my educational trajectory. Like they really, because like I was going first through third grade on Alabama State's campus. So when I was a little boy, all I saw was Black college students in my world. I thought that was normal. I thought everybody go to college, and this is what it looks like. I was all mixing, intermingling. I knew all the professors. Like, of course, in my mind, I'm doing this when I get of age. It was so that was all because of their exposure.
Yeah. No,
both of them.
How did the music come about? Like with everything with the music.
Well, my mom too, but my dad was a connoisseur of music growing up. Parliament Funkadelic funk, jazz, saying strong soul. And I heard it all the time. He was one of those dudes out of his crew that had the most high fidelity system out of everybody. Everybody else had the record players, which he had, but then he had the reel playing all of, like he was always a step ahead with all the technology, and then he had all the music and all the little get-togethers will be over our crib, and the little kids, me and the kids get sent to the back room, and the adults be out there. But I always was ear hustling the tunes, and I see all the album covers out in the aftermath of whatever they did last night. The next morning, I see all the album covers sitting around, and so I was heavily influenced by music, especially jazz, believe it or not, straight ahead jazz. Okay. And I just, Stevie Wonder was my guy, R&B. Johnny Hartman is my guy vocally in jazz, and Sarah Vaughan. But in R&B, man, Stevie, Donnie, and Marvin, the big three, they heavily influenced me. Average White Band, Michael McDonald, even, that white dude is crazy. Bobby Caldwell, just a whole range of people, the Funkadelics, Ohio Players, all that. And so I kind of like always challenged myself to, even though in my mind, I didn't fancy myself a singer. I didn't have no aspirations to sing, but I always try to harmonize with whatever I heard on the radio. Like I was always trying to see if I can come up with the harmony note to whatever the progression was. I was fascinated by harmony. And it's crazy because that ended up being a prelude or a precursor to what I was going to have to actually use later on as that skill. And that allowed me to kind of segue well into the group SHAI when it was time for me to jump into SHAI through my boy Darnell.
Okay, let's talk about SHAI. Did you know that was going to be something special when you got in? Like, were you guys go like school together and different things?
We met at Howard University. Darnell, which is the guy who sings the chorus on If I Ever, he also does the high note. That guy, my friend. That was my friend. That was my homie. We met at 17 years of age, freshman at Howard University. He was my roommate freshman year. Came Sutton Plaza, and his dad. If y'all know the movie Lean on Me, the Joe Clark story, his dad was a social worker at that school. Darnell went to that school. And the guys that singing in the bathroom, that Fairy Side, they were a group called Riff. And Darnell's dad, not only was he a social worker there, but he was their manager professionally as Riff. So we were all tied into Riff. And like Darnell would get all the songs in advance before they came out while we were at Howard when we were freshmen, sophomores. And we had a dorm. It was too many freshmen in the freshman dorm. So they put Darnell and a few of us freshmen downtown DC in the upperclassmen dorm, just on the 5th and 6th floor. And adjacent to us was an all-girl dorm. And so on weekends, we would take them songs. And our other roommate was a saxophone player, Antonio Parker. And we would go.
I went and serenaded the way.
We would go over there, and so the alley, their balcony was facing our windows. Okay. So they had balconies. They would come out on the balcony and chill, watch people walk through the alley, and here we come singing all the Riff songs before Riff even get the chance to put them out. We would sing, and he accompanying with the saxophone.
Wow!
And so we was kind of building our chops. I was just doing it because I love music. Darnell, in my mind, Darnell was a singer. He was also like as a freshman, like. He was helping making up the dance for the marching band for Howard because he was in the band. He got a scholarship trumpet for the marching band and stuff like that. He was a music education major. And he came in. I was a poli-sci major, political science. I had no, while I was at Howard, I ran for Liberal Arts Student Council Vice President one. I ran for Howard University Student Body President. Like I was always on that trajectory, but Darnell was in the musical thing. And that's how we hooked up. I wasn't thinking about SHAI. Then he pledged Alpha. We split ways. I joined the Nation of Islam. And then later on, we kind of came back together. And when we came back together, the group SHAI had it was Beta at first with Carl and Darnell. They were like a two-man group, two-man production writing team. But then Mark Gay joined the group, another Alpha. And Mark Gay named one of his specials the word SHAI. They were Alphas. They studied Egyptology. SHAI means destiny in human form. And so the name was so dope, they decided, like, you know what? I think, we destined to be something. Let's take that name for ourselves. So I was out of, my dad had claimed me on his taxes. So I couldn't continue to go to school and get financial aid because I had gotten married while I was at Howard. Okay. And I was trying to use financial aid. My dad claimed me on his damn taxes. So they cut away my schooling, but I still had housing some kind of way. So in that downtime, I had taken a temp job, but I didn't get hired a lot. So in the spare time, I was with Darnell every day in the fine arts room while SHAI was practicing for this huge talent show that was coming up. Okay. It was like 5 Alphas in there practicing. But right before time to perform, 2 of the dudes just didn't show up no more. And now they went from 5-part harmony to 3-part harmony. And here Garfield just sitting there every day for like 2 months. Darnell was like, yo, bro, I know you done soaked up some of this stuff we've been practicing. They were singing Comforter, acapella, piano, If I Ever, and Baby I'm Yours were like 3 songs they had already had under their belt, but they were only accompanied by the piano that was in a little sound room in the fine arts. The padded rooms, it has a piano in it. You're supposed to go in and just rehearse. All the fine arts students, they had a whole bunch of those rooms. Chris Day was in another one hitting drums, if y'all know him. Eric Roberson was in another one doing his practices. And so we were in there, and I was like, yeah, I know the bass parts. I know the bass notes. Like, yo. And see, the people, I think they didn't come back, that the other Alphas didn't come back because this particular talent show was like the Apollo. Like people get booed off the stage, and not even because they whack. It's just because the liquor in people's systems, half the crowd was the football team. The other half was the New York posse, the New York kids that wanted to recreate the Apollo, and at the expense of these talent, because everybody on that show was super talented. We got lucky and went last. So by the time we got up there to perform, we did all these Boyz II Men songs. We started off with we did Please Don't Go Away. People was tired of booing, I think, by then. So they let us live, they let us land. And then we got a kind of a standing ovation and an encore, and we didn't have no more songs to sing. We had this little thing called a DAT, and all our songs was on the DAT player, Boyz II Men, little instrumentals. We ain't had nothing else, so we was like, yo, y'all want to do the If I Ever practice song? Because that was our practice song. Y'all want to do If I Ever, we don't need no DAT for that. We could just do that a cappella, y'all, It was like, all right, but word. So we started singing it, and by the second chorus, them hardcore football dudes, everybody in the crowd, they was singing the hook when it came back around the second time. They was all singing it like they knew the song. It was crazy. And so the curtains closed, and right there, us 4 was like, yo, y'all heard that? Y'all trying to get a record deal? And everybody was like, yo, I'm down. Let's try to go get one. And from that night is what and that was the only show we did at SHAI before we got a deal.
Wow.
That was the one. But that was a kind of proving ground kind of scenario that let us know an adverse crowd like that, we could, impress them. You might have something, you know what I mean? Plus, Jodeci had just got a deal.
Right. So
they went up to Uptown on the spot, sang for them, and Casey and JoJo was so nice with it. They signed them. In our naivety, we thought, man, we could do that. But it worked though.
Right. And I wanted you to talk about that because in the era that you're talking about, there was some fantastic boy bands coming up. You know what I'm saying?
All of them.
Like you was just saying, y'all was singing Boyz II Men. Jodeci was doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? New Edition, I think was
they the Godfathers. Let's get it real clear. Right. New Edition, for the renaissance of the boy bands, paved the way for all of us. They like the big uncles, you know what I mean? Even though we all close in age, but they was doing it since they was like 12, you know what I mean? And they from Boston too, big ups. Orange Line, Dudley, Bud, Roxbury Boys Club, Franklin Ave, Kite Festival, all that. But boys, New Edition was the model, man. Like they showed us what a new boy band, a boy group could look like, version, and coming. So the 90s kind of like was using their template, I believe. Like the Boyz II Men's, the Jodeci's, even though all of them had their own sound. That's so dope about the 90s. Everybody was a one of one. Like Intro didn't sound like Jodeci, didn't sound like Boyz II Men. Nobody sounded like Silk. Nobody sounded like SHAI. you know, you had like UNV, then the girls like H-Town, Knocking Boots, Portrait, and then you had like you know, SWV, you know what I mean? And then later on, you got the 112s, the Jagged Edges, and the Drew Hills, you know what I mean? You know, you had like Genuine, like all of these people had their own stage, their own sound. Like it was, and so you was fans of everybody. Like, you know, everybody could be a fan of the next man because you ain't worried about them trying to bite your style. Like they was doing their own thing and was dope at it. Like everybody had it.
And that was part of the era about being original. You know what I'm saying? About having your own lane, your own sound. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sure, there's going to be times where, you know, there might be some melody or some harmony that's
it was similar elements, but everybody had a signature lead vocalist or a couple of lead vocalists. Like everybody had their own, you know, and it was a joy, their own writing style, kind of like their own little, like put it like this, like SHAI, we did harmonies, Boys II Men did harmonies, Jodeci did harmony, Silk does harmony, you know, but none of us have that same sound. Our harmonies are different ways of doing it. All of them dope. You know what I mean?
And it takes those, like it takes the one song, like If I Ever Fall in Love, that was like a timeless classic.
Thank you.
Like, did you guys ever know that it would never lead a culture? Because like that's still in my playlist till today.
It might be naive to say this.
Playlist, so it came to my playlist today. So
yeah, that's crazy. I can't believe that I'm a part of people's, like how Stevie and all these people stay with me through my. I can't believe that we are that for people. That's crazy to me still. That's crazy. But nah, in real time, in our naivety, should I say, I really believed that when we came with, I was always so confident that if I ever can go up against any song and hold it, like when we were on the charts, you know, we were 1 and 2 with Whitney Houston's Bodyguard soundtrack, and I will always, and I will, that's all hits are not created equal. That's a monster.
That's
Whitney, who was the monster, a female vocalist of this damn this century, right?
Absolutely.
And we were right there hovering under her for the whole time. She was number 1. We were number 2. Like we broke, I think, Elvis Presley's record for the longest number 2 song or something like that on Billboard, you know. And so that song was a classic hit even back then. Like I knew it was, but I was kind of naive feeling like it was, but it turned out to be true. Like, you know what I mean? Like a broken clock is right twice a day or whatever. I really thought that song was doper than any, you know, but it panned out as you live long and longitudinally look back. It really was a strong hit. Like it was up there too, you know. Baby I'm Yours is also in the top 10. You know what I mean? We had 7 songs that chart at the top 100, you know, because a lot of people tend to kind of like think that we were just If I Ever Fall in Love, but we weren't.
No, and I was kind of explaining that to some different people when we was talking about SHAI. I was like, no, y'all don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you're familiar with that one song, but they got 6, 7, 8 other songs that was killing them back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like with, you know, somebody they wanted to hear SHAI. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
we broke up too soon. Like we didn't get to put a lot of body of work out.
Because I was going to ask, did you guys end up like, was it a second album or?
Yeah, we did 2 albums. We did 2 and a half. We had a remix kind of album with a bunch of live versions of our regular songs, and then we threw them some new songs on that. Like Baby I'm Yours had this kind of we did this a cappella version of it called Yours, which was dope, you know. And then we hooked up with Jay-Z. And I Don't Want to Be Alone from the second album, we hooked up with Jay-Z and came up with this song called Tonight. Like the song is called I Don't Want to Be Alone Tonight, but then we did the Jay-Z version with Marley Marl, produced the track, ran it on Hot 97. It was number 1 Hot 80 for like 2 months. Jay-Z got up there and did 3 verses, killed it, and it was called Tonight. And you know, the label for some reason didn't want to ever do a video for it. Because we spent our own money with Marley Marl and paid him, and he got Jay-Z. Like the label didn't have anything to do with it. We kind of on our own because we knew we were trying to go creatively, and the label was trying to box us in. We took a chance and got in touch with Marley Marl, who was the DJ at Hot 97 at the time, and who was just Marley Marl. And he was like, "I got you," and he sent us a beat, but the beat was the Nobody Beats the Biz beat. I was like, "This the beat he wants to rock on? You gotta be kidding me!" What? The Biz? Nobody. So we wrote a joint. Me and Darnell wrote that joint. Just me and him pinned that up, and we sung it. Marley Marl flew out to LA. We recorded it. he went back to New York, got Jay-Z, and Jay-Z rocked 3 verses on that joint, beginning, the middle, and the end. You know what I mean? Killed it. You know, me and my music menage a trois with SHAI and like he was doing all kind of. And so the label didn't feel the onus to do a video because they didn't spend no money on it. But it was blowing up, and the hardest market at the time to blow up in was New York. They made all the taste at that time before the West Coast got it, and then before the South kind of came in and took it. New York was the taste maker. And we were blowing up in that market at Hot 97 for crying out loud. 97. And our label didn't think to put, you know, they didn't want to give us a video. That would have blew it up even more. But in New York, it was a classic.
Let me just let you know that I'm from New York. And I was in New York at the time when SHAI was doing your thing with Jay and all y'all, and y'all was killing it. Like I want to say, I just want you to know that.
I appreciate you, bro.
It was on fire. You know what I'm saying? You know, we was absolutely getting held down. And y'all kind of had a different type of flair, you know what I'm saying, where cats can really get with SHAI opposed to another boy band. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, New York is about
New York.
New York, you know what I mean?
New York is New York.
And if we feeling like, you know, there's softness over there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're not having that.
You're not really rocking with that.
They're not feeling that.
But then here comes SHAI, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we had a little flavor, you know, because you know the dude Darnell was from New Jersey, he's from Patterson, you know what I'm saying? I kind of grew up in Boston. I had my little, you know, the RSO crew and all them, you know. And so, you know, it was something there to us. Plus, but we was good peeps too. We were like, you know, at least me and Darnell, we wasn't full of ourselves and nothing like that. We was down to work with people, and you know, we weren't scared of the hood.
So what was it like touring with the other like boy groups and different?
And that was the dopest thing in the world. Like Al Heyman, y'all people know Al Heyman now because of the PBC boxing and stuff that he into. But back then, Al Heyman was the Budweiser Superfest dude. He put on all the Budweiser Superfest and got all the artists. And so it was Jay, H-Town, SHAI, SWV, Silk, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes LL will close the show, sometimes Naughty by Nature will close the show, and sometimes BBD will come on there and just show out to close the show. Yeah. And that was how we was, you know, that was the tour. And we did that twice. And that allowed us to steal sharpen steel type of thing. That allowed us to kind of, everybody got doper and doper. Our band was cold. All of our band members came from Howard University, a jazz band. So they were accomplished musicians. To this day, a lot of them are MD and a lot of like Earth, Wind and Fire. And, you know, you got Gordon that's playing that, you know, if y'all know Chris Day and Gordon, Chris Day they had their drums facing each other in the sound room. Like, you had so many dope. Mark, just doing Mark on the bass, Kevin Levi on the saxophone. Like all these names I'm naming are like incredible. So our band was ready. And so when we came on tour, we was rocking. And then Silk and SWV shared the band, and their band was bananas. And it's like everybody was watching each other perform. It was like we were all fans of each other. You know, Jay, the H-Town, it was crazy. So it was our tour bus will break down, H-Town to come pick us up on the way because they right behind us. You know what I mean? I'm up here talking to Dino. He telling me how his dad taught him how to sing out the side of his mouth to make that round, you know, all kind of little, it was just a whole bunch of good synergy and energy during that time. And we all loved each other. We didn't have no beef with each other, nothing like that. It was harmony. It was all good. To this day, we still tour to this day. Like the promoters get all of us still like the 90s package and be these same groups. We've been knowing each other all our lives through the music. And so, and we get each other shows. Like somebody might want SHAI and they be like, yo, you got any contacts? I'm like, yo, here go my boys H-Town, here go Silk, you know.
Yeah. So and I wanted you to talk about that a little bit. I mean, you spoke a little bit, but the development, you know what I'm saying? Like being on tour with all those great artists, you know what I'm saying? That had to lend to your development.
Oh my God, big time.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you see one thing, but you've been doing it one way, but you're not afraid now to do it this way.
See what worked. You know what I mean? And plus, it was beasts. Like SHAI, we was dope. We had our harmony. We had our little smooth style. We had these fly little, you know, like chords and stuff that were like, you know, augmented. Like we had like a mastery of that kind of vibe. We had the vibier stuff. But then you get little G come out there and John with the Silk and just, you know, just like let me lick you, like freak me and then lose control. Come on, it's always crazy. And then, you know, then Coco come out there on SWV doing all the stuff that they do, ridiculous. And Jay with Don't Walk Away, when that thing dropped, that music, boom, boom. The bass is just crazy, and then die, and then just all of them blowing.
No, it was
Oh, okay. So with that, because what do you think
about knocking the boost track on, and they start doing that little dance? I still can't do that dance. They start doing that little dance.
Man, back in the day, it was love music. Everybody can slow dance, everything, and now, like, how do you think R&B has shaped now? Do you think it's totally different from,
one of the big differences, I do think it's different. And one of the big differences is that it's a few things. It's a few different dynamics, but one of them, I just on an obvious part of it, there are no groups pretty much no more, like that group dynamic. So you'll start seeing in the sounds of the solo artists, you don't hear harmony too much no more either, because like you'll hear, dope vocalists, or you hear a little muted little harmony down low. The producers always want to tuck it way down, and they got strong melody lines and they have real catchy hooks now. But then you start getting a whole phenomenon of like the organic part of music is not there. Like people could call in and request songs and root for songs. Now you got like the consultant firms creating playlists for different radio stations, and it's like a carbon copy. So now people are picking artists based on projections, based on like cookie cutter. Like what if that worked, then I'm gonna remake one of those types of situations, and I'm gonna get another Usher or another, another SZA or another. So a lot of people they'll start to sound alike. And then so you get the variation, like how SHAI, Silk, and Jodeci, Boyz II Men, Genuine, everybody had their own different, because Genuine had that Timberland and Missy Elliott kind of thing with them. It was like so much talent. But now you're getting people trying to shoot to sound similar so they can chart, because they know that formula works. It's more formulamatic now, and so that takes a little bit of the raw creativity away from it, the spontaneity. So the artists that are out now, they probably, a lot of the artists that you hear doing certain types of things are probably way more talented than what you probably even give them credit for. But they know they got to come up with a certain style of thing to hit. You know what I mean? And so then the lyrics too, this is my observation. Like when Timberland came out with the tripled up drum sound, Timberland had that. He was the first one to do that. Then people start getting drum machines and just pushing a button to triple up their drums instead of getting like how Timberland had it, and like Questlove from the Roots. But then cadences, R&B cadences start mirroring those tripled up drums. In the name of riding the beat, you start getting more hip hop cadences in the lyric, in the verses with singing. And then that spawned people like a Drake, and who's trying to sing, and that's a new style of music came out. You don't quite know where it is. It's a rap dude that's singing. Shit, Lil Wayne had the hottest song in the whole world with How to Love when it came out. That joint, that was Lil Wayne, but How to Love was like, any group would have took that song and loved it. Like SHAI would have sung that. Like that was crazy. But he killed that. But because of the music going that way, and then hip hop dudes grabbing the melody thing, then it took the R&B people to come to the middle too. Because if you look at rap and R&B on two sides of a spectrum, and the singing took a rapper towards the middle where the singing is, where the singers with the look of the D'Angelos and the Jaheens with the cornrows, and now they expected to come up with more hip hop feel, and boom, they started going towards the center too lyrically. So you start getting a lot of these cadences. If you take a lot of these songs now and take the melody off, they just rap songs. Right. A lot of those the cadences that these are singers, all of them, you know what I'm saying? They dope though, but it's they rhyming. They singing, but they rhyming. Take SZA, take anybody. Those rhymes. Those are 16-bar verses with melodies. It's not like singing like how we had it. So the evolution of hip hop, it kind of like the side effect and the ripple effect kind of bled over into the R&B, and when hip hop became more became actual pop culture around the world. Hip hop itself was pop culture. Right. That kind of like created a portal for everything to be funneled through a hip hop lens. You know what I mean? And so R&B turned almost into a version of hip hop as opposed to you know. So that's what we are today, in that kind of world. But within that, it's still creativity. It's still people you'll see on the internet who don't get a lot of play. That's still about that singing life and dope songs and stuff like that too. But what they're gonna play on the radio is a different kind of beast. Right. Those consulting firms only want that.
Only one. No, and that's an absolute true statement because. Like I said, I've been around music for a long time, so I know what it is. I know what to hear. You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm listening for, and it's. I don't want to say it's sad, but it's a little difficult now to find that R&B singer. You know what I'm saying? That classical, traditional R&B singer. You know what I mean? From what I'm used to hearing. You know, from what I'm used to vibing with it. Now, you know, everything you just said. You know, now you hear the R&B, but then also now here come the rap. You know what I'm saying? And he's hopping back and forth, and I'm like, no, man, where's the music, man? Where I can slow dance with my girl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, look, don't get me wrong. You still got strong vocalists. Like if I take a Jasmine Sullivan or a Lettucey, or like I really dig Miguel, man. His voice is dope to me. Like I mess with Miguel, hard body. Like that dude is incredible to me, right? But he a youngin', so he still kind of got a young cadences and you know, be the cigarette, you can be the smoker. Like he and then like and Lotus Flower Bomb and all those things is beautiful to me. And Wale was but he's
Chris
still
Brown. I love Chris
that.
Brown, you know.
Chris Brown is the illest. That's my dude right there. I'm glad he finally get his props, man. I mean, I know what he did in the past with Rihanna and all that, but that dude, that's one of the talents of our generation. That's like people dig Usher, and Usher's dope. I Usher Raymond, that's the guy. But Chris Brown is the guy, bro. Like, I mess with Chris, man. That dude can sing and dance. You know, he got swag. He got the whole package, and he need to be more celebrated, man. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the artists. He a classic. He just happened to be born in a young dude's time, but he's a classic.
He's an old soul. He's an old soul.
Yeah, he's a classic, man.
Yeah,
I like Chris Brown. I always rooted for him since he came out as a youngin'. Like it was a time. It was like Chris Brown had come out, Trey Songz had come out, Lloyd had come out, and you still had Pretty Ricky and stuff like that was still festering around, and like they were all young at that same time, and I was like, yo, that dude Chris Brown gonna be that, he gonna bust through, he gonna be the one, you know what I mean? Right. Sure enough, I mean, all of them actually did well, actually, but Chris CB, you know, he's selling out stadiums back to back, 80,000, like, you know what I'm saying?
Killing him, good man. I need you to talk a little bit about the business aspect of it, man, because a lot of cats get in the game. They got talent and they're able to do their thing, but they don't have their business aspect of what they're trying to do in place. And a lot of times, man, they suffer. Let me just say that, from not having a business acumen of knowing what to do, how to kind of have their music and get paid monetarily for the different things that they're doing in life. You know, I mean, in music. So I need you to talk a little bit about that, man, because you're a doctor.
Yep. And look, it's funny that you segue with that, because you might not even realize that my dissertation was partly about that. I looked at how Black males navigated spaces where power is distributed inequitably. I looked in the classroom in terms of Black male presence and students, how they navigate that space when things are skewed. They got unequal representation in terms of getting called to the office. There's a school to prison pipeline. But then I looked in the music industry and how people traverse that dynamic with a contract being thrust in your face to begin with, already skewed in terms of the power dynamic, because you didn't present the contract, they presented to you. You got to make the best out of that thing to navigate. Yeah. So it's funny, both of those situations, my findings were, it was the same exact findings for both sides. You got this trial and error period where you're not really dealing with, you think you're an artist, but what you are is a product maker. As soon as the product come out, the business interests control that product, and you are just an extension of the product. So they control you, they cut the check, and you become a mechanism for them to get some product. In your mind, you creating this art, and you want to treat it like art. You want to control when the damn songs get released, what order they come in, and all that. You think you got, the artwork and all. No, they got a projection in the bottom line that trumps your artisticness. So you are a product maker, right? Right. So it's trial and error in that way. Then once you see that, oh, shoot, this thing is a business. Damn, I ain't an artist. I'm a product maker. Then that's the period where you peep in game. It's called peep game period. You start navigating and looking at the power dynamic. You finally like perked up, like, because some of your things that you thought was going to happen ain't happening. Now you got to peep game and see how to navigate this, right? And then once you peep game, you start to understand the lay of the land. Now you in this thing. You don't want to sell your soul. At the worst end of it, that's the thing that'll move you up the ladder. But you're an artist, so you don't want to sell out, but you got to ride a midpoint and navigate it. And so because you got to navigate it where you can still go to sleep at night, but you got to give a little bit because they still got the contract. That's called the new attitude phase. You done peep game, you done retweaked it, re-understood it. The dynamic now, the business side is the side, and now you got a new attitude, like Patti LaBelle with the new hairstyle. You got a new attitude. And then so now you're able to ride that wave with the new attitude. Still, you giving up a little ground, but then you still pushing back a little bit in terms of certain things to make sure that you can still have your soul when you sleep at night and ride the middle if you can as much. Right. And then the last phase is experience is the best teacher. Now you're going through things. Now you know I can't just hire all my homeboys to be my managers. Like, they might not be as competent. I need somebody, even if it's that, hate to say it, don't be mad at me, y'all, but sometimes even if it's that Jewish dude who got all the connections that can get you placed, if that's what it takes, and he's competent and he got your best interest at heart, if you might have to roll with a competent person or person that's connected to get your interest in that business game of it, because that's who controls it. So you got to you got to be political with your movements. And so then that teaches you stuff like in real life that you take those lessons, that you deal with the most competent person in your own life, even outside the music game. You're going to deal with the meritocracy aspect, people that can get the job done with the follow through. That's what you're going to, so certain lessons transfer over. Same thing in the classroom. It's the same kind of dynamic about a student who's experienced these things and having to retool how they navigate so they can make sure they graduate. And, like it's a certain thing. Like this little boy just got through losing the case because he had dreadlocks in, I think, Florida or somewhere. The judge after 2 years ruled that because they suspended him, kicked him out only because of his hairstyle, but he ended up losing. You know what I mean? And so even though that's ridiculous because that's cultural, the navigation might dictate if your end game is to get through school in that area, you might have to lose the dreads to do it, or else it's not go through school, which is cool because entrepreneurially speaking, there's a lot to be said for people who are skilled artisans, who are electricians, and they go to school later on and get their business degree to complement their skill set. Because I wish we, even though I got a PhD, like Booker T. Washington versus W.B. Du Bois, the talented 10th, the scholar thing versus like the skilled artisans, it should be a union instead of a versus mode. Because ambidextrous mentally is how Black students should be. Like you should be able to do a trade. Trade take you anywhere in the world you can make money and still have your STEM kind of like trajectory in school. Getting through school, you got a side hustle that, you do a carpenter or you cutting hair, you doing electricianship and you join the guild. Now you can hire people. And so we at a loss in terms of like how we perceive the people who do trade, the tradesmen, who is Uncle Fred or people like that, who you think is less than the other uncle who went to graduated. Matter of fact, when it all breaks down, Uncle Fred over here with the electrician with the guild getting paid, he's gonna have work when all y'all ain't working. All y'all PhDs and people like what I'm saying?
Hey man, I'm so glad you said that. Because listen, that is one of the things that I teach and I preach all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it that everybody feels like you should go to school, this, but sometimes school ain't for everybody. Traditional school is what I'm saying. But just because you're real good with your hands in certain things, you know what I'm saying?
That's intelligent.
Right. That's being able to improvise, on the fly. You know what I'm saying? Like there's different things being able to do. You know what I mean? Like you might have to cut this corner, but you don't got the right tools to cut the corner, but you can figure out how to pick up a rock and cut a line and step on it and crack it and make it work. So I truly appreciate you, man, when you said what you said, man, because a lot of cats absolutely don't get it. You know what I'm saying?
That's just being real.
That's just being 100 real. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, and then now it kind of extends now into the technology part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of cats, are really good at a particular thing. You know what I'm saying? They what's the neurodivergent? I think they call it now. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like you may be good at one thing, but you may not be able to express it. You dig what I'm saying? But if I put the tools in your hand, you'll create something better than anybody in the room was able to do. You just couldn't voice it. You know what I'm saying? You had to show it. So I'm a big proponent of that, man. So listen. Dr. Garfield, baby, I really appreciate you, man.
Nah, because we handicapping ourselves from that kind of thinking, man. I don't know how we got like that, but those are complements to each other instead of versus mode. Like those things are equally as valuable, and they need to be able to work together. Like how dope would it be for a person to still be able to go to school, get a business degree, but then using it for his electricianship business, where he employing other dudes from the hood that he done taught that trade to.
Right.
And now they working without having to be in corporate America per se, controlling their destiny, but having the business savvy to understand exactly how to do it. And that's the best case scenario to me. You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm smiling, Jack, because everything you're talking about, I did that. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to big me up or none of that. No, it was just that I kind of seen it before a lot of cats even understood what it was. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope,
like,
man.
You
I
know,
applaud
like
you.
in my community, you know what I'm saying? Like, I reckon, don't get me wrong, I went to school, all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I'm pretty swift. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
But at the same time, I also knew that I possessed a trade, right, that I could teach. And everything that you just said, man, like I started a painting company, and I would go to the court. I would go to the basketball court during the day, whatever, and I would just ask Cash, yo, you need a job? You need a job? You need a job? They're like, yeah. I'm like, this is what I'm doing. You know how to paint? No, come on over here, man. I'm gonna show you how to get this done.
That's dope, man.
You know what I'm saying? And not only I'm gonna show you how to get this done, I'm gonna pay you more than anybody else can pay you.
And
You know what I'm saying?
lead way into artist development. Like,
but it goes with the old prophecy of why should I bring you fish when I can teach you how to fish? You know what I'm saying? And now I teach you how to feed your family and how to how to create income. You know what I'm saying? Generational income. Because if I now teach you a trade to be good with your hands in some shape, form, or fashion, now you can show that to your sons and grandsons, and this keeps on moving, baby.
And that transfers anywhere in the world you go. You can use that trade. Everybody need that.
Right.
Pardon me, wherever you go.
Yeah, pardon me for going over.
I feel you, man. I'm glad it resonated with you, man, because I believe it too, just like how you believe that. Even though I'm sitting here with a PhD and all that, I see I understand what that. I get it. I really do.
Absolutely, man. So what's next, man? I know you're touring. You touring. What we doing, man? Because I see you got the smile in your eye. You know, life is beautiful right now, man.
Got any acting going on?
I just got a manager. Like I finally, not for SHAI, but just for Garfield, the brand. Because I've been making music and stuff, and I've been putting it out, and it's been getting well received. I'm getting a band together. I'm gonna start doing some little solo stuff here and around Houston, and potentially as songs, boom, I'll go further out. But I'm also writing I wrote a book, a fiction piece. It's called Lotus 3013. And I think I'm dealing with a publishing company now. And the premise is in the year 3013, hip hop is believed to be created by white people. And there's no trace of it being otherwise, because they locked up all the people who are affiliated with hip hop in a penal system. They got a whole class called a penal class. Okay. And what they're really doing with these people is they're trying to extract the X factor from the scientists in those labs in the prisons, hooking these people up and trying to extract what makes the hip hop part of their mind magnetic, and extract that and then put that into their and transfer that over into their things like architectural design for their cities. So they can attract investors because that it'll be more vibrant and doper. But they're using the prisoners to do it's a whole thing to it. But that's out. It's right now you can get the book on GarfieldBrightofSHAI.com. I got a little website, but I'm about to get a publishing company behind it where I get some hardbacks and put it out. But I'm writing my autobiography as we speak. Of course, we're still touring. I'm recreating Schoolhouse Rock 2.0. If y'all remember that from back in the day. I'm doing it for now because I learned so much through that when I was a youngin', and it was a useful tool. It came on between your favorite cartoons, and it was teaching you all about the language arts, civics. I'm gonna throw in some history stuff that we need to know, but I'm using that formula of putting it to music and getting it animated. I got a little character called Dr. B. I'm gonna have a little hat to the side, walking up the block and doing all my stuff in all the different cartoon forms. But I'm doing that. I'm bringing my education and my artistry together to create tools. It's under the Prep Project. Are
they courses? They like courses?
No, they like, if you remember Schoolhouse Rock, they're visual. They're like these 2-minute slices of video. They're animated. They got music on them with the animation, and it's just it's a real kind of like cutting edge. It's teachers. It's going to be teacher material, like, where they could utilize this stuff in case their regular rote methods are getting boring for the students. They can supplement it with these things in the high school level, in the 4th, 5th, 6th grade level too, and stuff like that. The way I'm making it, the history stuff might be a little heavy for the older
absolutely kids. Keep us tapped in on that, man. Because boy, listen, that sounds real interesting to me. You know what I mean? And,
no doubt.
You just.
And we are definitely gonna put you in the next issue of Media Made magazine.
I appreciate it.
Talk about that too. We have
and I might end up getting some acting gigs. A manager is trying to set some stuff up, maybe with Lifetime. We'll see. You might see my face pop up.
No, listen, I don't doubt that for 1 second.
And I appreciate the magazine love over there.
Yeah. No, we got that. That's a given, baby. You got to worry about that. That's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And then, there's a lot of different things that that we're gonna talk later on, because like not only do we do over here, but we also, one of my partners is actually a screenwriter. You know what I'm saying? A screen and script writer. And so we too are over here fighting through the politics of different things, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get it done and at the same time not get it stolen.
Right. You already know.
We already know, you know what I'm saying?
You already know.
You know,
intellectual property is real.
Right. And don't get me wrong, you know, I'm from a place, Brooklyn, New York, and I understand that sometimes you got to pay for your lessons. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to pay that much.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You can't go past the point of no return with it.
I can't go past the point of no return. You know what I'm saying? So no, we definitely gonna stay locked in, man, with one another. But we ain't talking about me today, man. We talk about you. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, you got some good stuff going on, man. I enjoy it. I'm glad you man of substance, doing your thing, making it work.
Yeah, man. You know, and I try to include my whole team. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I can tell.
Yeah. Like Sonny
having a team is very important. Very
Sonny came on board when I first met her. You know, I was like, man, come on over here. You know what I'm saying? And then after we started having a couple conversations, she told me what she wanted to do. And I was like, all right, let's get it. You know what I mean? She's like, wait. I'm like, no, ain't no wait. Let's go and make this go down, baby. You know what I'm saying?
How you do it.
Yeah. So same with you, man. I know you touring, you're trying to do some acting, man. What else, man, you got on deck, baby?
Well, I'm still, like I develop these programs. I'll jump back in the classroom occasionally, but my population that I always work with is the alternative school kids. That's who I like to rock with. Kids that's about to go to juvie damn near, and holler at them and get into their world. And when I jump in, I'm either teaching English lit or some kind of social studies, but really I'm just kind of reflecting them and teaching life skills pretty much. Yeah. And just getting them to see who they are, putting a mirror in front of them and letting them see their higher selves. Yes. They already got the skills, and a lot of the reason why they even in the alternative schools is because they bored with the BS that's going on in the regular stuff. Because they beyond that, they could smell a rat, and they just ain't interested. They want something that they can use in real life right now.
Yeah. Right.
I love them because that's who I like. I like to deal with that energy, and for some reason they vibe with me, man. I don't know what it is, but I always have a good success rate with those.
Man, you got great intellect. You know what I mean? And you feel like you got great intellect, man, and you can read a room. Like I could already peep game right away, and you way over there. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great, baby. And when me and you started
Dr. Bright fight.
That's what I love. I love those kids, man, and I still got a lot of them that I click with to this day. Even when I leave, they still with me. They still hollering at me. We still building. I'm still giving them little information. They put me up on game too. It's like it's a transaction. Like, absolutely. So I made better for the experience. So I still do a lot of that. I still do a lot of mentoring and a lot of those things where I kind of show other teachers how to create engagement, with that population, in a way that's not formulaic, but using your gifts. Because a lot of teachers are under the misconception that the content knowledge is what you have to be a teacher. That's like fifth place. You know what I mean? Yeah. They gotta see you. A lot of Black students are field dependent. So the person in front of them in the field, they want to know if that vessel got my best interest, got my back. Can I trust it? It's a whole bunch of stuff that go on way before you get to, can I learn from the content from it? Right. And so I'm always trying to show teachers how to navigate that kind of style of mental.
And SHAI is still touring, right?
Heavy. Yeah, we just came back from Germany. Just did a couple of shows in LA. We going to Suriname this year. We got some more Germany stuff to do, or maybe Dubai. We're gonna be in Atlanta, I think, in a few weeks.
Well, y'all need to hit Arizona because
the AZ. We were just in Seattle. Okay. We got a lot of shows. Dallas. We got a lot of shows, booked up for the rest of the year from this point forward. So just look at the SHAI page to get the latest. Coming up. We kind of in hiatus in September. We got a couple of little things, but October, November, December, we heavy.
Okay. So I just want to let you know I'm definitely gonna be tapping in with you about different things. You know what I'm saying? Only because you while you going out and you speaking to these children and whatever, I know that there's some part of it that's being recorded, right? And some of that's being recorded, man. Some of that can be used to actually teach kids in certain classes of different things that they're doing, man. And that's one of the things that I try to educate students on if I possibly can. You know what I'm saying? And then, if I got a video of showing Dr. Garfield Bright, and this is his perspective on this, that, boop, 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 bam, man, y'all need to tap into that, man. Listen to that.
Well, really, it's like, when you're in the classroom and there's not a lot of filming, but the main thing that I really do is I center the student.
Okay.
So that removes teaching atness, and it becomes like a transactional educational experience where we both educating each other. We both become the teacher and the student at the same time. Of course, I'm the authority figure in the room. I'm the grown up, but I don't parlay it in that kind of like strong. Like we part of the same fabric right now.
Right. Me and you the same, but we're not.
And I'm asking questions.
Yeah.
And then you have the option to kind of like, because I say, you know, basically in this particular classroom right now, the textbook is us, the people. Each of y'all represent a chapter, including myself. And I like to read, I like to understand, I like knowledge, but I can only get knowledge from your chapter if you open that chapter up and allow me to experience it. So that's going to have to come directly from your mouthpiece. So anything that you say or do to me, that gives me a chance to let me understand your chapter, your book. And the more information in your chapter that I've read, I know your chapter a little better. I know how to read it a little better, a little quicker, and respond to it. And boom.
Absolutely.
So, and I do it like that. And then I like to put my chairs in in alternative school, you got a small student population. So you might have 10, 11, 12 kids in the class. So you can put your chairs in a round like that. And the round is equality. There's nobody in the front or the back. We all face each other in an equal. Even me, I ain't in the center. I'm like in one of the chairs.
In the circumference. You're in one of the 360 of the circumference.
Yeah, we in the 360, we in a cipher. And so
you're in a cipher. Absolutely.
That right there breaks down a lot. And then I do little things like I got these things called TCQs. They're called thinking cap questions. So I identify my graffiti artist dude as soon as they come through the door. And usually they get in trouble for doing graffiti in schools. But I identify them and be like, y'all, nah, I ain't. Look, what I need from you right now, homie, is go up to the board. Oh, you draw too? Oh, you a graph artist too? I get like 3 of them. Like, look, I need y'all go to the board right now and draw me a baseball cap to the back and then put TCQ on it, either the bill or the top part. They up there tagging it up, getting it tight, boom, blah. I say, make sure you put your name up under there, bro. Come on, you got your piece. They put their name. Now, them dudes who usually probably check out in class, they got a piece of artwork on the board that we looking at, and it's sitting there. And then I got a question before we get to content. I'll say something like, what's bigger, the mind or the universe? And I'll be like, look, it ain't no right or wrong answer. Y'all tell me. You know, I've been wanting to know what y'all think. And since it ain't no judgment, then more people raising their hand, giving what they think. And I say, your only prerequisite is you just got to tell me why you feel that way. And even if you disagree with somebody, you can't just disagree. You got to tell them why you disagree. And then we had this whole little thing about is the universe bigger than the mind or the mind? And then from there, once they done got their and everybody validated because ain't nobody getting judged. And I'm like, that's dope. That's dope. Word, that's what you think? Oh, wow, I never thought of that. Then we go to the subject matter from there. Now everybody involved there, everybody who's probably not gonna say nothing. And then to chop it off, I identify, people that usually could potentially be like the troublemakers in the class. Usually they bored. So what I do with them, it's like 4 dudes in every class. I put them, I say, y'all, I'm gonna put y'all right here next to me. And look, y'all my drum roll crew. I said, look, when I give you this look, don't be hesitating, bro. As soon as I give you this look, I need you to give me the drum roll. And I'm gonna do like this. I need to get louder and louder. And then at that certain point, I'm gonna cut it off. And then when y'all finish, that's when I make my point, this big point that I'm gonna make. I always use my drum roll. So don't miss it, man. Y'all got paid. Y'all gotta make sure y'all checking me, because as soon as I look at you, I need that joint to start. Right. So they wait and they listen to every word I say the whole class, waiting for that moment to get this drum roll in. And then I get like 2 other people in class, and they beat the shit out the desk. And crescendo, they've been wanting to do that anyway. So they don't got no need to do no other stuff that's destructive, because they know they get this drum roll in, and they loving that. And then I cut him, then I give them a pound. I say, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
And now they listen to what I'm saying, because they my drum roll crew, and they got to be on point, So I do little stuff like that and I play instrumental hip hop real low. Not enough to be annoying, but just enough where we can bob our head while we're taking in the conversations.
Yeah.
Instrumental. And that's my class. All those little elements make up how I do my classes and stuff. And kids love it. They be trying to cut class to stay in my class.
Well, that's what's up. Yeah. That's what's up.
But it's like interactive in those kinds of ways,
Yeah, no question. Hey, Garfield, baby, it was beautiful, man. I swear to God, this was good, baby. It's very rare that way, when we get somebody, man, where we can interact, man, and and on an intellectual level. You dig what I'm saying?
We appreciate
we can banter back and forth, man, but still be as one. You dig what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So before you go, I need you to shout out and plug everything and everybody to help you get to the places where you are today, my brother.
Oh man, that's a big list, but I
know, man. I know, man.
I got to start out with my mom and my pops, of course, my stepmom. They definitely did that thing, Both my grandmothers rest in power. But also, you know, the group, man, like all my teachers that kind of took interest in me. But then, you know, SHAI, you know, like for letting me in, you know, even though we went through our trials and tribulations, but Darnell, Carl, and Mark, they allowed me to jump into something because I'm not an alpha. They all Alpha Phi Alpha members. So I jumped into their world, and you know, we rolled out, you know what I mean, and made some of myself. So that, and you know, dang, it's so many different people along the way that like Blue from you know, Blue that was the manager of Outkast.
Okay.
You know, Blue was my man. You kind of remind me of Blue a little bit too. I'm saying, Mike. But Blue was my guy, you know what I'm saying? He kind of like, even though he was a role manager, quote unquote, before he got into that, he was a big help to our, you know, he kept us out of, he got us into some good trouble, right? But he kept us out of a lot of bad trouble. Like he was
step in front of the bad trouble. You know what I'm saying?
You know, like Flavor Unit was our management for a while. Latifah, Shakim, and them, they looked out for us and stuff like that. So I still got mad love for them. You know, Tretch and Naughty and Vinny and all of them, KG. And dang, the list just goes on. There's so many people I'm forgetting. But WPGC, the radio station that put us on, you know, LBD and Paco Lopez from WPGC, who broke the record to begin with Home Jams, you know, and then BET at the time, who put us on. And you know, our label, even though they kind of didn't know how to really deal with us, they still signed us, and that was big love. You know, they have to sign us to no deal. So right. You know, Gasoline Alley, Randy Phillips, no doubt. So it's more I'm leaving out. I apologize.
No, I get it, man. Listen, because you got a long tenure, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you just one of these cats that just popped out yesterday. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
No, man. You know what I mean? You got. So is it crazy sometimes when you think back to it, man? You got 20, 25 years in, man.
And it's like 35. Like we came out in 92.
Right. So that's like, wow. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? Almost like so, but I never get used to it. I always trip out that this has been my life. Like I can't unlive this. Like I live, this is the life that I got picked to live. Like
and those that you've been around, man, and help you with your development. And not only that, I'm sure there's been a lot of people who've been around that's dropped some jewels on you, man. That you never forget, man, and help you get to the place of where you are now, man. So
plenty. Like, shoot, one, like we did a song with KRS-One, a lot of people never heard. It's called Destiny. He never did nothing with an R&B group, and he did that with us. We made the track, Darnell, and he killed these verses, bro. Like, golly. So, but he dropped a lot of jewels on that. But just that concept of, you know, Chris being around us and stuff, like being a part of our situation and making that gesture, that gave us a lot of, like, you know, like a forward-looking thing about our group that we didn't have before, in that kind of way that we was relatable to those kinds of cats. Like, damn, they got love. But Chris drops jewels on this track, man. If y'all could ever find Destiny, man, peep that. And then there was a lot of people just in the industry that put us up on game. Shoot, peace to Christopher Williams, man. Like when we first got to the game, he kind of like took us under the wing for a little bit and showed us how life was a little bit. And, you know, we was learning some lessons. It was just you know, we were blessed, man. We didn't lose our souls. I know I didn't in the industry. And I'm still here to tell about it, and still got my health. I'm a vegan, you know, but I got that.
Hey,
I've been like this for like, you know, 15, 14 years. But when I was 17 at Howard, 18, I stopped eating beef and pork. And then I joined the Nation, of course. Right. You know, I was How to Eat to Live, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, 1 meal a day. I was doing that for years, you know what I'm saying? I still kind of stick to that a lot and everything. And you know, now that I'm 55, I can see it now. Like I can see I'm aging good and stuff like that. Like, still got all my hair and stuff. You know, so
I'm laughing because it feels good though. You know what I'm saying?
They definitely dropped that element of my life. A lot of jewels came from that for sure. You know what I mean? The ministry.
Shout out to the vegan people. Shout out to
the Gregory family. Ayana Gregory put me up on a lot of game. Like I met her right before she ended up going to Howard. I met her in Massachusetts because that's where they from. Like they live in Plymouth, and she put me on a certain way of eating. That's what made me stop eating like a fast food and stuff like that. Her talk, and then she ended up coming to Howard. And then me and Baba Dick Gregory got the same birthday, so I stayed, like, you know, October the 12th. That's both our birthdays, so that kind of gave me more incentive to follow that line. And you know, it was just a lot to it. A lot of good stuff along the way, man.
Yeah, I get it. So, Sonny, I'm feeling real good right now. You know what I mean? Because I'm not the only one living like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really eat fast food, the whole meat, the whole, you know what I mean? Like, yo, it's,
drink your water.
I'm not a vegan, though. I'm not a vegan.
Oh, it's all good, though, man. But you conscious about what you take in, you know?
Right.
I've been vegan for 8 years, so you
Right.
know, I've been vegan for 8 years.
That's what's up, Sonny.
Yeah.
I see you
Hey,
going over there, love.
Yes.
Let me just say this to you, man. You know what I mean? Before we go, man, may you be blessed.
You too, bro.
And all the things that you do in life, man, and may you prosper in each and everything, in each and every day that you do it, my brother. You heard?
Yep.
Until I see you again, man. Boy,
before we leave, to plug your social media platforms, please, so everyone can reach out.
That's I'm just, you know, Instagram, the Garfield Bright Experience, and on Facebook, the Garfield Bright, and the same thing on TikTok. Those are the three that I kind of build am on and stuff like that. So that's it. You know, follow me. You know what I mean? Check me out. I usually try to drop a new song every Friday. Next Friday, I'm gonna come out with one and I'll talk about it on IG. I put the story out. But yeah, expect big things coming soon, man. I got a podcast about to come out soon. And it's called More to the Story. I'm gonna be taking a deeper dive into the life narratives of different people that we all know, you know, with a little bit more information that you might, you know, people that you're familiar with, like the Michelle Obamas, the Richard Pryors, you know, the Tupacs, the Bill Cosbys. But I'm gonna give you a little more in-depth take on things that you might not have known that they was into and stuff like that, you know. And so more to the story.
Just keep us tapped in, baby. And when you dropping them songs, let us know, because we got media made music. And we got an app. We drop it on the app, baby. You know what I mean? And showcase you for that day, baby. Listen, I'm trying to cover. I got all the pillars over here. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna miss us around this.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Hey,
that's right. Well, y'all be cool, man. I appreciated y'all talking to y'all. Y'all was dope energy. Y'all, I wish y'all the best too and everything, man. Y'all keep it up.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. One commenter said, somebody commented, wow, okay, Allison Williams said, really, really great interview.
Oh, thanks, Allison. She's one of the first people that keeps track of me on the different pages that I have. She always supports.
That's
so thank you, Allison.
Yeah, appreciate you, Allison. Big shout out to Allison. Thank you.
Yes.
Garfield, once again, man, my brother, man, may you be easy, man, and always travel in peace, my brother. You heard?
Yes, sir. One love.
One love, baby. Peace. Salute.